So here's what I thought I'd do today. I just detailed the car last week. I'm washing it this week. This is always my favorite wash because there's always a little bit of wax and a few spots that need to be touched up. You can kind of see it when I go to the office and I walk out. I see, I walk out of the car, I'm constantly carrying a rag around, just wiping. You'll see little spots, especially on white. It's really hard to see where there's leftover wax and where you miss some spots. But remember, I did the woofs on the window, the two-step, I guess three-step, 3 coats, 1 coat of Menzerna Power Lock, and then 2 coats of Colonite 845. And it's been a while since I've had this. I used to use this on my E92 M3 a lot. There's no question this is better than the $200 or $180 Auto Finesse Desire. I mean, the beads on the paint are huge. I haven't even washed it yet, so there's still tons of dirt and pollen in the air and a bunch of junk on the car. So what I thought I'd do today is just make a few post-detail comments, make a short, hopefully short video, and just sort of talk you through a couple of things as I wash the car. And let me show you the beading of this. I mean, first of all, the woofs is really good. Now remember, this is still dirty. I haven't washed the paint, and the car got pretty dirty this week. But the beading capabilities of a $15 wax, I think it's actually $11.99, is incredible. I mean, you can do better with some sealants, but the depth and shine you get from this Colonite 845, I mean, is just as good as anything I've ever used. And I mean, I've used Swiss wax, Swiss Wax Concorso. I've used a bunch of Auto Finesse products. What else have I used? I've used probably a dozen different waxes. I've used some P21S wax. I've used a bunch of different waxes. And I hate to say it because, you guys know me. I like to buy, it's fun for me to buy stuff that nobody else uses, or let's be honest here, it's fun for me to spend a bunch of money and shop for things. And so I have a tendency to love, Swiss Wax really appeals to me. Just their branding, their marketing really appeals to my desire to waste money, I guess. But I can't. This stuff is too awesome, man. I mean, it works great. And, my durability, I want to say, I take better care of my car than most people do, but I want to say we're going to get at least 6 months. I mean, I'll probably get longer than that out of this. But I do daily drive this thing, so now I'm in Florida, in fairness. So let's, just wanted to show you some of the beading. Let's move. You can see it run off. Another thing I wanted to show you guys, I don't know if I can get this in frame here. People keep going crazy about me using a pressure washer, like it's gonna blow some paint off, or get jammed up in the if I use it to clean the engine bay, you're going to get some water in the electrical connectors. Well, check this out. I mean, if I was running high pressure, my hands would be bleeding. I mean, I'm 6 inches, 8 inches away from the end of the wand. So that's the kind of pressure that we're talking about. So it's really just kind of blowing forced air, or forced water on the car. So, honestly, I'm using a lot less water using the pressure washer than I would be if I were using the regular hose. So that's the kind of pressure we're talking about. So, you're not trying to blast the dirt off the paint or blast the paint off the car. You're just trying to get the dirt off the paint. So just something to think about. So I'm using Adam's car soap. Just foam the car and wash it off. I'm trying to think of what else. I need my detailing assistant again. gonna start employing him for every time I wash the car. So, you know, the thing I struggle with is this super cheapo wax. It's so much better than anything else I've ever used. So I've used, I was trying to figure this out earlier, I just started thinking about it. And I've used, Blackfire Wet Diamond. I've used Sonax Polymer Net Shield. Those two, those are two sort of synthetic sealants. They're not coatings, but sealants. Another thing I want to talk about, the trim. So, trim is a hard thing to keep looking clean. It tends to get splotchy, and you have to be real sort of careful how you take care of that. Not careful, but you have to take consideration when you're taking care of it. So what I do to keep it nice, I gotta figure out a way to get some Wolf's trim coat, because it's the best thing I found on my particular rubber trim, this area and this area, is you use isopropyl alcohol. So clean it with Adam's all-purpose cleaner. Then, I didn't do this in the last video, but you should just keep wiping it until you're, really until you're tired of wiping it, because black will keep coming off forever. But until you get most of the gunk off with a 91% IPA and a paper towel, till you feel satisfied, then you put sort of the trim coat or the protectant or whatever you're using, like Adam Super VRT or Carpo Pearl or something like that. The problem with using like Carpo Pearl, or which I made the switch to from Adam Super VRT, is that you have to do it pretty much every time, or at least every couple of times. Where the Wolf's, I gotta call those guys and tell them they need to import to the US, because the stuff is good. Some of their stuff is good. Apparently they're in Hungary, and it's hard to, I talked to Phil at Detailer's Domain about it. Just called them up and asked them, said, hey, can you get me some more of this stuff? He said no. He stopped importing. It's just too much work to get it from Hungary. They were requiring him to order too much stuff. By the way, I don't know Phil. I just know of him and have been a follower of their blog. So all I do is no different than what you would do, is just call them up and say, hey dude, what's the deal? Can I get this stuff? So I don't have any more influence, not that you guys thought I did, than any of you do. So if you have questions, a lot of these companies are really willing to, as long as you don't call up and be an idiot. You don't ask for free stuff, and just call them up and be honest and say, hey, what's the What's the deal? How come I can't get a hold of woofs? And then I've found that most of these companies are small enough and smart enough to take care of. I'm going to buy a bunch of crap. I'm really pleased with the paint, this mineral white. I feel like it's different than the white on or some of the other paints, like my Le Mans Blue E92. Dude, if I breathed wrong on that paint, I would get squirrels or scratches. It just seems like I was always battling it. Now, I wasn't quite as good as I am today, and I've learned a lot since then. I got that car in 2011. I've been detailing for about, I want to say since 2000. Nah, probably closer to 2002 when I got my S2000. That's when I learned how to clay bar and